Well, can't even get the words out tonight. I just ate some, I kind of scarfed it down. I cooked a corned beef. That puppy cooked for, I don't know, 10 hours, but it is yummy. That's what I'm choking on. But welcome everybody to the September 25th edition of Speaking of Zane. If my calculations are correct, this is the 207th week. We skipped last week, and for very good reason. Very good reason we skipped last week. Due to my return travel from work in St. Louis and the 10th Acts reunion, which was absolutely fantastic. So I had a good reason to miss. I actually got home late Sunday evening. So I flew to St. Louis for work on the Wednesday, I believe it was. And then worked Wednesday, Thursday, drove down to Branson, Missouri, where the reunion was on Friday, and spent Friday, Saturday, Sunday, drove back to St. Louis on Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. It's a 4-hour drive. My flight was like 6 o'clock, so I didn't get back here till after 9:30 or so. But so I was not going to be back in time for Speaking of Zane. So we've had 2 weeks, 2 full weeks to report on between the last time that we met and today. But let me just acknowledge some folks here in the chat. Looks like my buddy Daryl is in there from the St. Louis area. Carl and Peggy. I got to spend time with Carl and Peggy. First time in decades at the reunion. It was so good to see Carl and Peggy, and we had a really good time telling stories, telling lies, and reminiscing. But Carl's in there, Daryl's in there, Travis is in there. Hey, Travis. That's Zane. We first got to know Travis as Sergeant Loest, Sergeant First Class Loest. He was Zane's platoon sergeant, and they did the tour of duty in Iraq together. Welcome out in the Austin, Texas vicinity. Jim Miller's in there. Hey, Jimbo. Aunt Paula's in there. Hey, Aunt Paula, welcome back from yet another vacation that you went on. I enjoyed seeing your cruise updates, and I'm glad you made it back safely. And I know you were busy on the cruise. Among other things, you were thanking veterans, and that's awesome. Let's see who else we got. Aunt Mary's in there down in Ocilla, Georgia. Dad's in there. My dad, Mac Marine, is in there down in Fitzgerald, Georgia. Matt Aaron up in Michigan. Hey, Matt, looks like you had drill weekend this weekend. And it looks like you took the family with you. Looks like you guys had like a field day or something. But there's my buddy Dan Jeffers. Dan, it sure would have been good to see you at the 10th Acts reunion. We had a blast. Really good time. As much of a blast as a bunch of old people can have, I guess. But anyway, good to have everybody in here tonight for Speaking of Zane, September 25th, 2022, the 207th edition of Speaking of Zane. The reunion really was outstanding. Amy, who is often in here with us, Amy and Carrie, did a fantastic job of coordinating everything, getting the venue and orchestrating all the facility. I just said that, the venue, and all of that stuff that goes along with it. We had a cookout, barbecue, smoked meats was the order of the day last Saturday evening, and it was outstanding. Those ladies did a great job. And I don't know what the final count was, but we had, I don't know, 30 people, 40, something like that. I think Kathy and Randy Bergmeyer are already working on the next one. At least Kathy is. Kathy's kind of gung-ho, and she's going to be coordinating things. And a couple of years from now. So we'll meet again in a couple of years. So location to be determined. There was some banter around a couple of different locations, but I know they probably want to put it out to the group and see what the most logical place is. But they did a fantastic job. I really enjoyed it. First time I'd ever been to Branson. And guess what I did? I put together the scavenger hunt. And Amy and Carrie asked me if I'd put together a scavenger hunt as a Saturday afternoon activity. And Lori and I did one down at my Warriors place recently, so I kind of knew what one looked like. And so I built one for Branson. And I think I might have had 50 different items you had to find and take a picture of with one of your teammates in the picture. And some things the score weighed more than others. And it had kind of a British Air Force Logis feel to it. And I was worried that people wouldn't like it, but it was great. We had like 5 or 6 teams of 3 or 4, and they had a fantastic job. The feedback was great, and gave out prizes to the top 3, and it was just it was great. Good stuff. Yeah, Carl and Peggy, that was their first ever scavenger hunt, and they did a good job. They did a really good job. But okay, well, let's see. So I got home. Oh, there's Amy. Hey, Amy, I was just sending praises your way about the coordination of the reunion. And the reunion was the reason we didn't have Speaking of Zane last Sunday night, because I was still traveling. I got back late Sunday night, and I was back on the road early Tuesday morning. I had an 8 o'clock flight out to Phoenix. So I got home from St. Louis Sunday night, and I flew out to Phoenix on Tuesday morning and spent Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, got back Thursday evening. And went out there for work and to our Phoenix office and had a really good time with my colleagues there, and made it back. When did I make it back? Thursday night. Got back Thursday night. All right. Well, let's see what else is going on here. Well, the Braves have clinched a playoff spot. Of course, which was nice. Oh, by the way, when I was in St. Louis, I did go out to a Cardinals game, Cardinals Brewers, and it was a historic game. It wasn't one of the Pujols home run games. In fact, he didn't hit a home run that night, but it was Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina. They set a record for their pitcher-catcher pairings, and had I don't know what it was, 340 or something like that. And that is incredible if you think about it. A pitcher only pitches once every 5 days, and the season only has 162 games. And you can do the math. You can see it takes a couple of decades to even approach that if the stars align. Anyway, so that was a great game. They really did a good job of heralding that. So I had a good time there. Let's see, got some birthdays. My mother-in-law, Carol, who often joins us here, it's her birthday. And I don't think she would mind if I told you that she is 75. And 75, what did I say? 162 games, 161 games, Travis? Something like that per season, yeah. Let's see. So happy birthday to my mother-in-law, Carol. And to Lori's older sister by just about a year, Cindy. So Cindy had a birthday this past week as well. And those two ladies celebrated their respective birthdays today together in San Antonio, I believe. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, how about a weight loss report? It sounds like I'm bragging. I kind of am. I'm actually kind of proud of it, but at the age of almost 60, that I can get healthy. But I finally passed. And the last time I reported to you guys at 58 pounds. And I'm happy to say 2 weeks later, I am officially at 60 pounds lost since January. How about that? 60 pounds. And I'm still going. I've got some other goals for sure to attain. I think I've got a little more I can shed. But the waist is feeling really good. I'm down about between 6 and 8 inches in the waist, which is awesome. And so I got some more to go there. People keep saying, and I know why they say this is because it's typical. And they don't, people don't say it snidely or meanly. They just say it because they've seen it, I guess. But now they say, well, now you got to keep it off, or good luck keeping it off, or now your challenge will be keeping it off. And I guess, I've been going at this pace now since January, and I haven't missed potatoes and rice and bread and ice cream. Well, maybe every now and then I'll miss it, but I don't see changing back to anything that would allow me to regain 60 pounds. That's for sure. Anyway, so I will report back to you when I get to 70. So we'll see how things come along there. I am exercising a lot. I did another 3 miles today. Yesterday, I did over 16,000 steps yesterday. I did 2 3-mile walks yesterday, and cleared my head a little bit out at the cemetery, and got some good walk time in. Temperature's coming down, humidity's coming down a little bit, so very pleasant. But Jimbo says, you're being pretty optimistic there. Although that would be a good target. I don't know if a 60-year-old man can get back in that. I think it was the size. I don't remember the size of that fly suit. It's hanging up right across my office there. But man, if I could get back in that fly suit, there'd be something. It would look strange, that's for sure. I would be very thin. But anyway. All right, so let's see. Hat of the week. You guys know that the hat of the week usually has something to do with what the heck is going on. And this is a universal hat right here, because I can put any patch on it that I want. It's got Velcro on it. But because I do not have a 10th Axe patch, right, like this one right here, I do not have a 10th Axe patch. And I didn't fly in the 10th Axe. I wasn't assigned in the 10th Axe. I flew with the members of the 10th Axe, who included the front end crew and all the communicators. I flew with the 513th Avionics Maintenance Squadron. And there were only about 10 of us at any given time in the squadron that flew the missions. And so that's the hat of the week, the 513th AMS, Avionics Maintenance Squadron. And I tell you what, Randy Berkmeyer, Randy and Kathy did such a phenomenal thing by including in the reunion on the shirt, we're including the 513th AMS patch along with the 10th Axe patch and the Silk Purse patch. In fact, let's see, on the back of the shirt. And what a nice little tip of the hat there from the Bergmeyers to do that. I mean, they didn't have to, but I tell you, we spent a lot of time together on that plane. Everything Amy and Steve and guys like that broke. Guys like me and Jimbo and Carl had the opportunity to fix. And so we spent a lot of time together flying those missions on that plane and spending a lot of time on alert together in the Azores. So I would never even think about not attending that reunion. So looking forward to the next one. Okay. Well, hey, I wanted to share some pictures. You guys heard me a couple of months ago maybe talk about a new little baby that came into the world. Whose name is Zane, and he was named Zane by one of Zane's battle buddies, Keith Valencia. Let me share a couple of pictures of that little boy. Here we go. Let me share. this other screen with you so you can see how baby Zane is coming along. And yeah, another reason why Zane, our Zane, will not be forgotten, because every time somebody utters this little baby's name, that's Zane right there. Look at that little baby Zane. There he is. Keith sent me these pictures, and soon after Lori had sent him, Lori sent a couple of little baby jumpers with his name Zane on it and everything. So anyway, he sent those pictures. So pretty cool, pretty cool. Okay, more about Lori here in a minute. She's not able to join us tonight, but I'm going to tell you guys why here shortly. Okay, well, let's see. This week in military history, we do have some items to talk about. Well, first of all, today is Gold Star Mother's Day. Gold Star Mother's Day. A Gold Star mother is a mother who's lost a child in combat. Gold Star Mother's Day. And since we had a couple of weeks to go back, on September the 18th, 1947, a date that most of you know very well, was the creation of the Air Force, or the separation of the Air Force from the Army. Anyway, the Air Force is 75 years old. How about that? Happy birthday, United States Air Force. And on September 16th, actually, while we were in Branson, I think the 16th was Friday, maybe, or Saturday, I don't remember. Anyway, that's my anniversary of going in the Air Force. That's my anniversary, September the 16th, 1981. So 41 years ago, this guy showed up at Lackland Air Force Base. And got to go back when Jackson, our youngest son, graduated from basic training, and Travis Lose came over and attended that very cold ceremony with us, didn't you, Travis? It was in January. It was in January, but sure appreciate that. The base looks totally different, of course, 40 years later. All right, let's see. We also had a very tragic event occur on September 27th, 1995, with the crash of an AWACS, an E-3 Sentry AWACS plane, call sign Yukla 27, crashed in Alaska and killed all 24 on board. Mostly American airmen, but there were some Canadians on board as well. And among those that perished was a friend and classmate of Ken's. I don't think Ken's with us tonight, but Ken's classmate and fellow ROTC cadet. Let me share that picture here. His name was First Lieutenant Carlos Arriaga. Carlos was killed among the rest of the crew in that crash up in Alaska. We've lost a lot of aircraft in Alaska over the years. But there's, oops, make that smaller. That's Ken's old classmate from college. Right there. So rest in peace there, Lieutenant Arriaga. Okay. And then on September 20th of 2009, September 20th, 2009, Specialist Corey Kowal, son of our good friend Kelly Kowal, founder of My Warrior's Place that you hear Lori and I talk about all the time and that we visit regularly. Her son was killed on September 20th of 2009. I've got a special, actually it's Lori's idea. We have something very special for Kelly that we're waiting to arrive. But once it arrives, if you guys can keep a secret, Kelly often joins us here on Sunday night. So anyway, we have something for Kelly, and I will show you guys what that is when it arrives. Okay. Let's see. How about we move on to our challenges? So we keep track of a couple of things here. It was kind of an accident that it all came about, but it fitted nicely with our mission here. But we have a challenge to visit national cemeteries, veteran cemeteries, really. And then we have another challenge to basically this thank and show appreciation to those that have served, either in the military or as first responders. And you guys do such a fantastic job with us. And I'm the one that gets to track them and keep track and everything. And I really enjoy it. Starting with the Veteran Cemetery Challenge, we had 14 visits this last week. Well, over these last 2 weeks, actually. And anybody correct me if I need to add any of these, but I know that Jim Miller, over the course of the last 2 weeks, Jim Miller has visited at St. John's Cemetery there in Omaha, and Omaha National Cemetery. He has visited each of those 3 times since we were last together, each of those 3 times. And then Daryl, I've got Daryl down for Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery, where his wife Rhonda rests. I've got him down for 2 times. He may have had 3. Daryl, you're gonna have to help me in the chat there, but I think 2. And then Carl, help me out here if I didn't include any that you visited, but I got you down for the Branson City Cemetery. Branson City Cemetery, where there were several veterans, and that was part of my scavenger hunt. Did you like the way I very neatly wrote that into the scavenger hunt? So I know Carl visited there. Most of the scavenger teams did. They got that, and I did as well. So on my drive from St. Louis to Branson, I stopped off at Missouri Veteran Cemetery at Fort Leonard Wood and at Springfield. And then I also visited Branson City Cemetery, which had several veterans right downtown, right down there by the water, by the river. And then I visited Georgia National Cemetery yesterday, where I hung out for a couple hours. I walked 3 miles there. It's about a mile circuit, and got 3 miles in while I was out there and sat on the bench there for a bit. It was just beautiful weather. So let's see, if I add all those up, and I'm looking for Steve Shirley. I don't think Steve is in here tonight, but I think Steve and Kathy actually stopped off at a cemetery or 2 on their way to Branson, but I don't know for sure. We'll have to add those later. But if I add up Carl, Guy, Jim, and Daryl, I've got 14 visits. One of those, which was new, I need to add it to our map. That's the Branson City Cemetery. So if you add all that up, we've made 690 visits to 162 different cemeteries over the years. So pretty cool. People are amazed when I tell them that and show them the map. So thank you guys for doing that alongside us. They are special places. They are special places indeed. Okay, let's see. How about our Thank a Vet Challenge? Speaking of that, looks like Travis thanked an airman who's in the Texas Air National Guard. So I'll get you written in here. Let me update my numbers here, Travis. I tell you what, every one of these thank yous matters. It matters. You don't even know how it might matter. Um, just incredible. The potential impacts such a small gesture, can have. Um, just makes it worth it to me. I had a couple of really interesting interactions myself, but let me go down the list here. So Travis got an Air Force National Guardsman. Daryl got an Air Force retiree, Lucia, and he had a nice little story about their interaction there. He got another an Army vet, and then he had a very good interaction with an Army vet called Mike, who I think served for 30 years. And Jimbo, I counted Jim's 3 Air Force thank yous. Jim Miller. Let's see. Ken. Oh, Ken had a very interesting story. Ken, him and his wife were, I guess, at their little neighborhood association or whatever. They had some sort of concert or something, and they ended up meeting the lead singer in the band, and Ken found out that the guy was a vet, and it was from Ruskin, Florida, where my Warriors place is, and so Ken kind of hinted to him that perhaps he could visit my Warriors place and do a concert there or something. So we'll see how that develops, but that was an interesting story. Okay, Carl, yeah, let me. I knew that you did that. Let me jot that down. Yeah, I also built in the scavenger hunt to find a veteran, one that wasn't in our group. And every group did. Every group found a veteran and got a picture with them. So I know Carl and Peggy did. So Carl, I got you down. Do you remember what branch that guy was? Yeah, Navy. Yeah, they met a Navy guy. So yeah, so that was kind of fun. So let me add that, Carl. Okay, so Travis got Air Force, Daryl Air Force, Army, Jim 3 Air Force, Ken the singer vet. Matt thanked a Marine last week. Matt, I got yours down there. Thank you for posting that in the Facebook group. Carl and Peggy got the Navy vet. Now here goes Aunt Paula. Aunt Paula has been out on vacation again, and she thanked on one entry she thanked 2 Navy vets, an Army vet, an Air Force vet, and a Royal Navy vet on the Jewel of the Seas. And then on another occasion, she thanked a Navy vet, an active duty soldier, and a Customs and Border Control officer at the airport. And then she just posted just a little bit ago that she must be, are you here in Georgia, Aunt Paula? She thanked a Stone Mountain police officer and gave the police officer one of Lori's thank you cards. So well done, Aunt Paula. Well done. And then I mentioned I had a couple of really cool interactions. I was at the Kroger and I parked behind a guy. I saw his license plate. He was a Navy Vietnam vet, and caught him. He got out of his car and was coming around and had a cane, and I says, Navy, huh? I said, well, thank you. And did you enjoy your time in the service? And he said, yeah, I sure did. And I said, well, how you holding up? You getting along pretty well? He says, yeah. He says, I got this cane. I'm getting kind of old. I don't really recommend it, but it's better than the alternative. So we had a really fun, jovial conversation there, and shook each other's hands and went about our way. But I love that, and you could tell he was excited to talk with somebody about it, and we had a good time. And then I was out in Phoenix this past week, and two of my colleagues, we grabbed a bite of lunch before we head to the airport, and in between the restaurant and the airport, we got an Uber, and our Uber driver picked us up, and I saw on his dashboard he had a I don't know what you guys in the Army call it, a fatigue cap with his rank. He was a staff sergeant, had this rank on the front, and I said, okay, well, if he was a veteran, he probably didn't keep that around, but so he's probably a guardsman. And I said, are you a guardsman? He says, yeah. I said, well, thank you for your service. And my colleagues know that I'm in the military and everything, and that I was in the military. So we thanked him, and I said, well, I asked him a little bit about, we had a little ride to the airport, about 10 minutes, and I said, well, what do you do? And told me he was in the Arizona National Guard. He was a cook, and he said, but before, he was active duty, and he's got just a couple more years to retirement. And I said, well, how about that? I said, where all were you stationed? He says, well, my first duty station was Fort Stewart, Georgia. And I'm like, oh, wow, you gotta be kidding. And so we started chatting about that. And he says, yeah, I went to Iraq in, I guess it was 04 or something like that. And I said, okay, you were just a couple of rotations ahead of my son, who was in 369. He says, you're kidding. I was in 369. And so I met another third ID soldier, dog-faced soldier from 369. Travis, how about that? I don't even recall the guy's name, but it was awesome. He's about ready to retire. But wow, what a great small world. And the guy was just a great guy. So that was mine. And then, so if I add all that up, we're at 21 thank yous for the week. For the last couple of weeks, 21 thank yous that I know about. Of course, we were all together with each other at the reunion. I don't count all those, but except the ones from the scavenger hunt. But so 21 thank yous this week. And that puts our total to 1,673. You remember, it wasn't that long ago that we reached the 1,000 mark. In fact, if I pan the camera up, you can see the very nice sign that Lori had made there. The 1,000 thank yous with the Speaking of Zane logo. That wasn't too long ago. And we're already at, have increased that by 673. So how about that? Pretty good. Keep it up. I tell you, you just don't know you don't know the difference that a thank you or a simple act of kindness or appreciation means to people. I'm glad that we do that. Okay, well, let's see. What else? I got introduced to onto the organizations, and you guys know about all the organizations that we track and follow, involved with, support, and everything. But I wanted to give a shout out to Ralph, retired Marine Corps Master Sergeant, who owns Simplify Bar and Grill, our favorite restaurant in Woodstock, Georgia. He had the Air Force birthday last week, and he has that. He has a cake, always has a cake, and he has the oldest member of the branch, whichever branch they're celebrating, cuts the cake and all that. And he videoed it, and was on their Facebook page. So Ralph, keep up the good work there. The next one will be the big Marine Corps birthday in November. All right, and My Warriors Place. Let's see what's going on there. They had the Duck Derby. I know some of you guys have bought raffle tickets for that Duck Derby, where they floated these ducks down the river there and had a race. They announced the winner to that yesterday. And still trying to get something on the calendar to run down there. Probably the first or second week of November. All right, and then finally I get introduced at work. One of the founders, president, the founder, the CEO of our company, Jim Cavanaugh, asked us on our veterans ERG, actually he asked one of our leaders on the Army team, public sector team, who is a retired 3-star general actually, and So our CEO asked him what he thought about this particular organization. Of course, he turned right around and asked me, and I'm like, I don't know. Okay, let me do a little research. And the organization is called Folds of Honor. And I did a little research on them, and they are an outstanding organization that provides scholarships to families of the fallen, and have done phenomenal work. They have a 90, I think it's 95% of everything they raise goes to the scholarships. And it's founded by a retired Air Force fighter pilot. And anyway, so we're going to be partnering with them a little bit and sponsoring this gala that they're having in St. Louis. Anyway, I'm working on coordinating all that, the activities there and everything. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. But another organization out there that's doing great work for, in this case, the families of the fallen and disabled. So good on you, Folds of Honor. I'll let you know. I'm actually talking with one of the board members this week, who happens to be a former Marine, and he was an Iranian hostage crisis hostage. So I'm going to chat with him this week. Let's see. That's all I got for the organizations. Well, let me tell you a little bit about where Lori's at. Lori, and to ask you to pray for her and to be thinking about her. She's the mother of a son that perished, and can you imagine the sadness and sorrow? And it's been almost 6 years now, but she has really felt the impact of that in her life, everybody deals with these things differently, of course. And, I'm always telling you, check on your veteran buddies, right? Lori's a veteran, and she's my buddy. And anyway, so I'm out in Phoenix, and Hannah, my oldest daughter, messaged me and says, hey, listen, your mom's not doing so well. And anyway, long story short, the situation's bad enough that her doctors agreed to admit her to the hospital. And so she's at a behavioral health center here in Norcross, where basically you check in, you become a resident, and you get this very focused, undivided attention and assessment on what's going on. And so, of course, as soon as Hannah, Hannah has been absolutely outstanding to help grease, all of this through and get Lori where she needed when she needed. And I'm out of town, of course. Isn't that the way it always happens? And I said, Hannah, do I need to fly home? And she had already gotten her in and settled and said, no, there's no reason, because you can't have any visitors or anything like that. They want to make this sterile environment where they can assess things without, other factors and input. And I understand all that. I'm sure if I wanted to really see her, I could see her. But this assessment that they're doing, they want it untainted and as sanitized as it can be as they assess, what's going on. But Lori is one of those that has not done very well with the loss of a son. And, add to it the fact that I know that there is post-traumatic stress involved. It was the most traumatic episode that I have ever endured. We found Zane, and after maybe 12 hours, and me and Lori and Jackson, our youngest. And I know that each of us have been severely negatively impacted by the experience. And, how do you wipe that from your memory, what you've seen? And anyway, so just got the best of Lori. So she has a therapist that she's been with for some time, and that's after consulting with this therapist, they decided the best course of action was for her to go and get this very focused attention, and so she may be there for the better part of this week. So, but I'll tell you, she sounds wonderful. She can call, during the day, and she told me this morning. She says, "Can you just let everybody know, what's going on?" And you guys, she's talking about. I'm speaking to Zane, and she says, "I can't wait to get back, and I want to talk to the group about what I'm going through." So even though she is in a situation like she's in, she's still wanting to help other people, and she wants to tell you guys what she's dealing with, and how she's dealing with it, and what's some of the things that she's learned, so that you can share it with other people. So anyway, that's where Lori is tonight, and we'll hopefully she'll be back next Sunday night. But if she's not, I will give you guys an update, and I appreciate any prayers and everything, for sure. Okay, I cannot think of anything else. I've looked at my notes here, and I think I covered everything. But I'll tell you what, Amy and Steve and Carl, Peggy, man, it was so good to see y'all. Even after 40 years, when we get together, it's like we're the same as we were, when we were 20 something. And I consider y'all family. And it was just a wonderful time spent together, and looking forward to the next one. But okay. Well, have a great week. I always say this, I have a busy week ahead of me, but I do. I'm still working for a living, not like Carl and Peggy, they're retired. But anyway, this guy's still working. Anyway, so we'll look forward to seeing you all next Sunday night. And remember to check on, don't take for granted how well, how people are doing, and check on people. You just don't know what people are dealing with. And if you come across anybody that's serving or has served, let them know that you appreciate them, and it'll go a long way. And you know what? It helps you when you thank other people. What is it that Gary Sinise said? Let me find my Gary Sinise quotes here. He says, service to others is a great healer. Says, if you have a broken heart, help somebody else. Your whole life will be different. So that's pretty good advice to try to adhere to. But all right. Well, I sure appreciate you guys coming alongside us here every Sunday night for Speaking of Zane. And thank you guys for remembering him, even those of you that never met him. And it means absolutely everything to us. So God bless you, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys next week.